Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and let me start this video by saying this. If you've been following me for any time at all, you've probably been noticing that there's quite the evolution happening up here in terms of my overall look of homelessness. Due to the Rona, I can't see my barber, so thanks for sticking around through some crazy hair that's happening. I used to move it to the side when it was much shorter. I was still doing that for a while, even though it was getting long and it was crazy. Now I'm just kind of pushing it backwards to get it out of the way. I don't know what's happening, but I'm rolling with it while I can't see my barber. So thanks to those real ones out there who don't care what my hair looks like. And the rest of you, go ahead and judge me. There's nothing I can do about it, and I'm not shaving my head. So anyways, I have an unboxing to do. This knife, I cut the tape because I was impatient and I shouldn't have done that, but I haven't opened it yet. It's still in there. This, if you can somehow tell from there, is an Olamic. I've only ever owned two different Olamic models. My first one was a Wayfarer that I bought from the table at California Custom Knife Show, and then I got a Swish secondary, and I loved both of those. I actually had them simultaneously, and then I sold the two of them at the same time. I think it was to fund my SIG P226, which, no regrets, that's an awesome gun that I still have and will have forever, and so is what it is. But I missed those knives. So then it was probably only like a month ago, maybe a month and a half at the most, I got another Wayfarer. I traded for it. I traded my Ultratech Hellhound Bounty Hunter for that knife, and that Wayfarer was gorgeous, but frankly it was a little too pretty for me. It had Damascus clip and all the anodized hardware, and it had a coral inlay on the front, which was really pretty, but it was just prettier than I wanted to use and carry, and that happened to be at the same time that I had decided I was going to get another Koenig Arius. So I sold that knife to fund the Arius. Again, no regrets, just kind of my level of comfort with like dress materials. That knife wasn't really right for me. It was really exciting to have for a minute and check out, but it wasn't something that I was frankly going to use. It was too pretty. So I had an opportunity. I just filmed a few days ago, my full review of the Alliance Designs CMF Conquest. If you watch that review, you'll find out there was a ton I loved about that knife, but the pocket clip just kind of ruined it for me. And it's a bummer that that's the reality, but it is what it is. So I decided I was going to sell or trade that knife. And one of the things that I got offered pretty quickly when I put that knife up, somebody was really looking for one, and he had an Olamic Wayfarer to trade. So this will be my third Olamic Wayfarer, and we'll see if it's one that I keep for a long time. I realize it probably kind of looks bad that I've let go of the ones I've already had, but the Olamic Wayfarer is genuinely one of my favorite knives that I have ever owned. Both of the ones I've had in the past have been fantastic. I love the way they fit in my hand. I love the way they function. I love the material selections. I like the people behind Olamic. I've met them at shows, talked to Eugene quite a bit. They're just really cool people. They're based here in California. So I like a lot about not only just Olamic, but specifically the Wayfarer and the way it fits my hand. I genuinely think that the Wayfarer is a knife that belongs in the conversation with knives like the Chris Reeve knives Sebenza, with knives like the Hinderer XM18, with knives like Strider, sorry, like the Strider SNG. Some of those kind of that caliber of knives, I genuinely believe that this not only belongs in that same kind of conversation, but I would argue in a lot of ways, compared to my experiences, this might even be better. So this Wayfarer, oh, this looks really cool in person, is anodized bronze, and it has this kind of sculpted pivot on both sides and kind of like a sculpted clip and then a sculpted backspacer. Really, really well done. Every single Wayfarer that I have owned, this being the third in a row, has been the Sheepscliffe Blade shape. And it is my favorite blade shape available on the Wayfarer. It's also one of my favorite blade shapes, period. I love the way that this Sheepscliffe looks. I love the way it performs, and I guess that's really all there is to it. The looks and the performance are are pretty much the only two criteria, I guess. But it's M390. This one is satin, which I dig. It's still wearing the original factory edge. This knife doesn't appear to have been used to cut anything. It's a fantastic edge, still chilling on here. This one, let's see if it's numbered. Wayfarer 247S, T034S. So this is, appears one of the earlier Sheepscliffe versions of this knife, which is fine by me. It is, of course, a flipper, and it has the hole for deployment, so you can, oh, that was terrible. You can middle finger flip it, which, if you know me, holes are better than studs. I love to be able to middle finger flick or spidey flick my knives. The action on these, I've never had one that's drop shutty. That's not really the way the action is dialed. It's really dialed, like the preference is for like a fast deployment with the flipper. And you can feel that when you flip this knife, it rockets out. The way the detent is dialed is fantastic. It has been on all of the examples that I have ever had from them. And yeah, this one's in excellent condition. There's like one, maybe two very minor snail trails on it, but even the clip is in great shape. And yeah, this is a trade I would make all day, every day. I think this is a fantastic knife, and I greatly prefer it to the knife that I traded for it. So it's a no-brainer there. This one has, I always forget what this handle finish is called. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it almost looks kind of like wood grain, the way they've like ground some kind of grain structure into it. And it picks up light in a really cool way. It looks great in all the colors I've seen it anodized in. This one doesn't have any speed holes or anything like drilled out of it. So this one is about as heavy as the knife comes, but it's not too heavy of a knife. It feels like a sturdy titanium frame lock. So I really like this one. This one has a great case for being kind of my ultimate user Wayfarer 247S. So we'll see if I end up mustering up the courage on, even without all the full dress materials, this knife is just so pretty and nice and feels kind of artistic. But this one is relatively basic on their spectrum. So I may just have to make myself use this. In fact, I think I probably will. So that is the Wayfarer 247S. I apologize if you've already seen me unbox the other one, and this might be a little bit boring if you have, but I'll probably be doing some actual use videos with this one, and we'll see. I may do some fun stuff with it before doing my full review, but there will be a full review coming on this guy, and I look forward to it because I love this knife. I feel like more people should know about this knife. It genuinely is so good, especially, yeah, with how much craftsmanship they put into these and the price point they're being offered at, with each of them essentially being like a mid-tech, where they're getting hand finished and worked on here in California. It's a really cool offering. So there you have it, the Olamic Wayfarer 247S. S stands for Sheepscliffe, and it's a gorgeous, really cool, really fun, very functional, perfect, almost ergonomically for me, knife. And if you can't tell, I really like it. I'm stoked to have this one. So that'll be that.